Hello everyone, hope everybody's doing great today. Appreciate those who watch this video. I hope you enjoy it. And today we're talking about this series. It's an ongoing series on Netflix called Mrs. Night and Day. Comes on every Saturday and Sunday. We're up to episode 12. It's going to be 16 episodes long. So we got 2 more weeks. So if you want to catch up, you got plenty of time to catch up with this series. Once you start it, pretty sure you'll have a hard time stopping it. You know, it's one of those series. But I haven't really felt a need to do a video. I was going to wait till all 16 episodes came out. But this last weekend was a really great weekend for this series. Up to this point, I kind of felt like it was kind of predictable. Like I was able to tell what's going to happen next. For those of you who never heard of this show before, Mrs. Night and Day, it's about a young woman. She kind of gets cursed. Where at nighttime she turns into like an older lady who happens to be her aunt who disappeared decades ago, like 20 years ago, I believe is the timeline. And then during the daytime, she's her regular self. Sorry, I got that wrong. Rewind. During the nighttime, she's herself, and during the daytime, she looks like her aunt who disappeared. Got that backwards there. Just remembered. Anyways, she's talking about our young actress here, our young lady here. She wanted to work for the government. She couldn't get a job, but ironically enough, when she turns into her aunt during the daytime, she was able to get a job at the prosecutor's office. She's like his assistant, and he's working on this case about people who's been disappearing lately, over the decades. And this happens to be that the prosecutor. His mother was part of the victims that disappeared about 20 years ago, alongside with our female lead's aunt. This does have a little bit of romance into this series between the prosecutor and our female lead, but it mainly focuses on, apart from the relationship, on these disappearances. Anyways, like I said, the series been pretty predictable. You know, you have this guy who's this character, this actor, who's always like the bad guy. He's always the jerk on every Korean series that you ever seen before. So once you know, they've been trying to keep it a mystery on who's the guy behind, who's the person. I don't know if it's a guy or a woman yet. Who's the person who's been doing these kidnappings or maybe even murders. Most likely they're murders because our female lead turns into her aunt at night during the daytime. Keep on saying nighttime, it's daytime. Anyways, you know. But you got this one actor. He's always a jerk in every series that you see him in. Once you see him and you've seen him in other series, you'll know who I'm talking about. He was in my Mister. He was the jerk boss in that one. He's been jerk in other series. Anyways, it's been pretty, up to this point, been pretty heavily lenient. This has spoilers, by the way. Been pretty heavily indicating that he might be the guy. Because, you know, you got these mysteries where, you know, mystery shows, not really mystery shows, because they tell you who the criminal is, like in episode 6 out of 16, so halfway no. They already show you who the criminal is, and just about the main leads, just trying to find evidence to convict them. And I thought, though, this is what this show was going to be about, because, you know, this guy's always a jerk, and all the evidence is pointing towards him being the one doing these kidnappings and murders and stuff like that. But episode 12 really threw the wrench into this storyline. So I figured I wanted to talk about, you know, this, at least this past weekend, not all 12 episodes. I thought this past weekend was the best weekend of the series. Each weekend has been better than the previous ones. However, they haven't been like that much better. It's been just a teensy-wincy better, you know. It's been pretty much sticking to your typical formula on these type of shows. And maybe 11 to 12 is still sticking to the formula, but it did have some really large revelations. And specifically, the person that you thought was behind everything turns out to be most likely that he's not. Our doctor guy here, he is a bad guy. He is selling fentanyl to these drug lords, stuff like that. But I don't think he's the one who's killing people or killed people and, you know, and robbed them. Kidnapped them. I should say robbed them. Well, he did rob them, but kidnapped them. I don't think he's the main culprit. I'm not really sure if we've met the main culprit at this point in time. that would be interesting because I was really thinking it was this doctor guy. I haven't really seen any other characters that could be behind these mass. Well, like I said, all these kidnappings and murders and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure it's probably one of the characters that we've already met. I mean, after all, we're 12 episodes into this thing. Only got 4 more to go, unless they introduce us to somebody. If I had to guess, I would say it's probably one of the senior citizens who works in the city hall. Is that what they work at? I'm going to say American version of the city hall. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it was probably one of the old men there. I don't know his name. I know his face, but I can't remember the character's name. I'll be honest at the end if it is him, if it's not him, if I'm correct, but it might be him. Anyways, this is a solid. This is not really going. This video, it's not really going the way I wanted to go. But anyways, this is, if you haven't seen it, this is a solid show. I think majority of people at this point will enjoy it. I don't know about if it'll go downhill from here or not. But this past weekend, I thought was some great episodes. Really got to get into more of the characters, especially the guy who we thought was a villain. Why he's been doing and acting the way that he's been acting, he's actually, his wife was somebody who actually got murdered 20 some years ago, and at that time he was a main suspect, but he was found innocent and with an alibi, but his alibi is still seen kind of suspicious, and so he's kind of finding out what happened to his wife, and at the same time, cleared his name. But saying that, the doctor character is a bad guy. Like I said, he's dealing with fentanyl to people and to the drug lords and stuff like that. But if you haven't watched it, check it out. The only guess I can say who the villain is at this point, it would be one of the custodian people, the old guy. I think he's the one who was working with the detective. He's kind of my suspicion. And maybe the rich girl, but I don't know if she's rich enough, the rich senior citizen lady. But she just seems too nonchalant, not really caring. I don't know who else. I'm trying to think of who else could be the person behind the kidnappings at this point. I don't know. Maybe the character hasn't been shown yet. Anyways, it is good. If you like romance, this has a good romance thing in there. You got a little bit of a love triangle type thing. You got good comedy in this. It's well written at this point of the show. I'll leave my final verdict after it ends. I probably won't do any more videos on this series. But check it out. It's called Mrs. Night and Day on Netflix. If you like South Korean shows, this is good. If you've never seen a South Korean show before, that might be something to start and see what all the hype is behind South Korean series. Anyways, hope you enjoy this. If you already seen this, leave some comments below. Who do you think is behind the kidnappings and stuff? And who do you think the real villain is? Do you still think it's the doctor? It still could be the doctor, but I just don't think it is. Anyways, and what team are you? Team Prosecutor or Teen Idol? Anyways, have a great day. Bye.